If you think you want to try making homemade alcohol, then this video is for you. My friends at Clyhammer Supply wanted to try out my kit to make mead, so let's see how they do it.
Before we get into finishing this batch up, a quick recap of how it all started. Using Golden Hive Mead's beginner kit and instructions, the first steps were pretty easy. All I needed was 3 ingredients, some cleaner and sanitizer, and the included supplies.
First of all, I'm glad they mentioned using sanitizer because that's a step that a lot of people don't talk about in videos. I actually do have some videos showing how to do it. Glad they included that.
I added in 3 pounds of local raw honey, put the water in, leaving a few inches at the top, then added and stirred in my yeast.
They really didn't need to use as much headspace as they did here. They could have gotten away with filling that up another inch or two, but I guess it's still good practice.
Now that some time has passed, it's time to do another gravity check. My original reading was 1122, and if all has gone to plan, my next reading should be lower.
Trigger warning. A lot of you didn't like how I dropped in the hydrometer. I won't do it again.
Insert and spin the hydrometer and wait for it to stop spinning.
Be careful with your hydrometers because they're super fragile. She's honestly lucky that it didn't shatter right there.
My new reading was 1022, which means I'm on the right track. However, I want to be totally sure that fermentation is complete so that I don't end up with a huge mess. So I waited a few more days and then repeated the same previous steps. My reading stayed the same, which showed me that fermentation was in fact complete.
I'm surprised that this didn't ferment completely dry, but I guess because of the ratio of honey to water that they used, it still finished around 13%, so your mead isn't always going to end completely dry.
We've decided to let this age in bottles, so it's time to get that prepared. Before actually transferring my mead, I did a few practice rounds so that I could see what it was like.
Highly recommend doing this. Definitely practice with some empty bottles and just water before you actually bottle, because if you're a beginner, you've never bottled before, and you're doing it for the first time on your actual mead, there's a good chance that you'll spill and lose a lot of what you've made.
Transferring wasn't all too scary thanks to my practice rounds, and the included hose clip helped temporarily stop the flow before switching to another bottle, preventing sticky messes. Capping was my favorite part. The included capper has a magnet where you can place each cap. All you have to do is line up the cap with the bottle opening and then press down on the capper to secure it.
So what do we got?
All right, so I don't know anything about mead or making it, and this is my first round, but be as brutal as you want.
It's always super satisfying when you've never made anything before and you actually come out with a successful first batch.
I've had mead, I can probably count on one hand. How long has this been since you've made it? It's pretty young, right?
It is pretty young, so yeah, it could definitely probably use some aging. It's been about 6 weeks now.
Even though she confirmed it is done fermenting, I would still give it another few months of aging. There are benefits to bulk aging in that gallon fermenter, and then also that'll just give it time to fully clear. One of the issues of bottling too early is a lot of that suspended yeast hasn't had a chance to fully settle yet, and so it'll actually end up settling in the bottles later on.
People kept commenting it's not clear.
Probably, even though you let it settle,
yeah,
it probably still have a little bit of yeast sediment in there. Typically, like if you want a really clear product, you would use a clarifier.
Clearing agents are a great way to speed things up, but they're actually not necessary at all, especially for a traditional mead. A traditional mead where there's just honey should realistically clear up in a few months on its own. The times I use clearing agents are when I'm using fruits that are high in pectin, like apples, because those just take longer to clear up by themselves.
All right, well, should we give her a try?
I feel like I'm missing out. 1 second. All right, let's continue.
Wow. Damn, that's a lot happening. This is my first time ever trying mead, so I probably should have tried a better one first, maybe, but
it's pleasant though.
I feel like I got 3 different rounds of flavors all at once.
Yeah, that's, I think, where time will come in.
It's super common for a young mead like this to have those very harsh or sometimes hot flavors. Not just because the alcohol hasn't had a chance to mellow out yet, but a lot of that goes away with age.
There's something at the end, but do you find it unpleasant? I don't find it like unpleasant.
Not at all. I just feel like it crept out of nowhere. I just hit at the end randomly. I don't even know what I'm comparing it to.
I had it at I think it was Renaissance Fair, and I mean, it was terrible. This is better than that by a long shot. So I'm impressed. First time fermenting, first time bottling. Best mead that anybody's made in
this building.
In this space, yeah.
I beat you and Kyle.
Yeah, cheers.
Honestly, overall, I think they did a really good job. I think they should try another batch with fruit and also give it a little bit more time to age. But yes, to my friends at Clyhammer, cheers and happy mead making.